Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Thompson, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you on behalf of the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, representing more than 33,000 federal criminal investigators, police officers, and law enforcement professionals nationwide. I spent more than 34 years in federal law enforcement as an investigator, supervisor, senior executive, and political appointee. I led the U.S. Marshal's Office here in Washington, D.C., and concluded my government service as Director of Interpol Washington, coordinating our nation's global law enforcement efforts with Interpol and international partners. Today, I'm honored to serve as FLEOA's Executive Director, advocating for the men and women who protect our country every day. Throughout my career, one thing has remained constant. Federal officers remain unwavering in their oath to the Constitution and their duty to enforce the laws Congress enacts, regardless of the political environment. What has changed is the environment in which they serve. It has grown increasingly hostile, with rising violence, threats, and online harassment directed at officers and increasingly at their families. Risk has always been part of federal law enforcement, and the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial stands as a solemn reminder of the ultimate sacrifices officers make when carrying out a sworn duty to protect and serve others. But what we are seeing today is unprecedented in scope and intensity. The heightened polarization surrounding federal law enforcement's role in immigration enforcement and efforts to reduce violent crime in major cities has placed officers in greater jeopardy than at any point in my career. In 2024, the FBI reported more than 85,000 assaults on law enforcement, the highest number in a decade. Ambush attacks continue to climb. ICE officers alone have seen assaults increase more than 1,100% this year. These are staggering numbers that reflect the very real dangers officers face simply for carrying out the laws that Congress has enacted. The tragic ambush attack last week, only blocks from the White House, that killed West Virginia National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and critically injured Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf makes this painfully clear. They had been sworn in less than 24 hours earlier in support of joint efforts to reduce violent crime. We mourn Specialist Beckstrom and pray for Sergeant Wolf's recovery. And the danger isn't limited to violence in the field. Doxing, digital harassment, and threats aimed at family members have become disturbingly common. In one instance, individuals followed an ICE agent home, live-streamed it, and posted his address online. These are not hypothetical threats. They have real, lasting consequences. Constructive criticism of law enforcement is healthy, and accountability is essential. But what we are seeing today from some public figures, segments of the media, and even some elected officials is not accountability, it is vilification. When officers are depicted as political actors or adversaries rather than public servants, that rhetoric fuels hostility and makes already difficult jobs even more dangerous. Federal officers are your neighbors. They are parents, veterans, volunteers in their communities, and even family members. Reducing them to political caricatures is inaccurate, corrosive, and dangerous. We believe strongly in accountability, but accountability must be paired with protection. Officers who fear for their safety or the safety of their families cannot perform at their best. And at a time when nearly a third of our federal law enforcement workforce is eligible for retirement, and recruitment and retention is already a challenge, this rising threat environment poses a serious national security concern. Congress has tools to address this, and my written statement outlines several long-standing but urgently needed measures. Taken together, they would send a strong message that Congress stands with those who uphold the law. Federal officers enforce the laws you enact. They protect our borders, communities, and national security out of a deep sense of duty. The rise in targeted violence and corrosive rhetoric threatens their safety and erodes public trust. We cannot allow this trend to continue. Protecting those who protect us is not a partisan issue, it is a national responsibility.